Okay. So the definition of interrupt vector table I have given in the other video. So let me elaborate for a while so that the definition you can write it easily. It's a collection of procedures what to be done when particular interrupt occurs. Okay. So that means we have together like hardware interrupts and software interrupts, we have almost 64 different interrupts. Okay. So every time interrupt occurs, every time interrupt occurs, what the system should behave or how the system should behave, that is given by individual vector table, means individual interrupt handler. So the procedure is called as interrupt handler. The arrangement of such a interrupt handlers is called as vector table. So like see, I want to explain, there is one event in the some function etc. So what a person should do, what another person should do, when he has to start his work, when he has to end up his work. So that's arranged properly. So that final arrangement is what, that's a successful of a function. So in that way interrupt vector table is also collection of procedures what has to be done during different scenarios if a particular signal occurs. So if that is managed successfully, so whole total event will be executed successful. If anything problem or any difficult situation occurs, then how to solve that difficulty, there will be a procedure for that. I mean we have to refer and we have to go according to that predefined procedure. Okay. So let's go for the last part of this module, that's a core extension. Okay, here is a core extension. See, let's take one example before we could start the core extension here. As so in the core extension, first thing, definition of core extension, assume we have the class of a size 60 students. That means we have kept 30 benches, each bench can occupy 2 students, and we have 60 students admission took already. So that means minimum infrastructure is what, 30 benches. So suddenly some 10 newcomers will come with a new admission. So what we have to do is, we cannot create a new classroom for them, because only for 10 members creating a new class is not correct. So what we have to do, we have to extend our class infrastructure by adding 5 more benches of the capacity to each. So what happens that time, extension of core. In the same way, we have whenever we are working on extension of the core, there is a von Neumann architecture and a Harvard architecture. See that. Now in the von Neumann architecture, what we have is unified data and cache will be there. Unified data, I mean unified cache for data and instructions. Let's say I have wrote one program, C is equal to A plus B. See, I will read out possible all the programs, hash include, then a main, then int A equal to 2, then B equal to 3, and C is nothing. Next line, C equal to A plus B, then gets printf, yeah, the result is, okay, C, that's it. Then I will close using get ch, that's it. Okay, so now what happens is, the program whichever I have stored in the main memory will come to the AMBA bus, advanced microcontroller bus architecture. Using that, it will enter logic and control unit. Okay, once it enters the logic and control unit, it forwarded to unified cache. So now the question, what do you mean by unified cache? Here unified cache means it holds data and instruction together. Now the question is, what do you mean by data and instruction? Data means values, instruction means what is the work we have to do. Say, what is the work here? C equal to A plus B. For us it is very simple, like C equal to A plus B, but for computer it is a expanded steps, like take A, take B, add A with B, get the result, store result in C. See, this is what the steps. Even though for us because we are a high level language interpreter, or we understand a high level language, we call C equal to A plus B, but computer will not understand high level language. So we have to communicate with, computer will understand in smallest possible operations. Take A separately, take B separately, add them, get a result. That result you save it into C, then you print. See the expansion of the same program. So here there are two things to concentrate, one data and another one instruction. What are the data here? A equal to 2, B equal to 3 and C equal to nothing as of now is a data, are the data. What are the instructions? Plus, then equal button, equal symbol, last printf. These are the three instructions. So what is the first instruction will execute? Plus, between what two values or which two values it will execute? Plus executes between A with B. Where equal operation will execute? Once you finish A plus B, then you will get something called phi, that and C, between them equal symbol. And where is a printf? Printf is between monitor and C variable. Like that, the data and instruction. Here there is no discrimination between data and instruction in which von Neumann architecture. So you may get some some questions. So those possibly answered by explanation of Harvard architecture. Don't worry. So let me give some ideas. There is a common cache for data as well as instructions in von Neumann, and there are no tightly coupled memory blocks used when in von Neumann architecture. These are the two. Some more advantages and disadvantages later I will explain once I finish a basic definition of Harvard architecture. So the question point number 1 under Harvard architecture, there is separate cache for data and instructions. Cache, we are separately we are maintaining a memory. Okay. So here first thing, why it is important to maintain separate data and separate instructions. First thing, in the unified cache, since it is just like one bag, in the one bag we are putting data as well as we are putting instruction, but whereas in Harvard architecture there are two separate bags, one bag for data, one bag for instructions. So what happens with respect to capacity of storage, whether one bag is good more or two bags are more? So definitely two bags are more. One more justification for the point is TCM. What do you mean by TCM? Tightly coupled memory block. What do you mean by tightly coupled memory, or its advantage is, see, old days magnetic tapes and magnetic drums were used to store the data. There were no concept of TCM. So that means to store a data we need a room size hard disk. Please remember, room size hard disk or room size storage disk. But today, because of TCM, any quantity of data we can store in a disk. The disk size is of pocket, our pocket. Say USB disk or a pocket disk we used to call in our regular language, terabyte, 10 terabyte, etc. that we can transport in our pocket, but magnetic drum and magnetic tapes, it is not possible to transport by single user. They used to transport through truck or trains. So those were the difficulty using TCM, without a TCM. So Harvard von Neumann architecture means hardware of a computer will be very bulge means very high. So what is the disadvantage is, it will consume more power, we cannot portable from one place to another place. Whereas in a Harvard architecture, because of usage of a TCM, so size will be reduced. Okay. So coming back with respect to architecture, one advantage is we can store more data. Okay. Why we can store more data? We have two bags, one bag for data, one bag for instruction. Also one more advantage, let me tell you. So when von Neumann is good or when Harvard is good, if I have wrote a program in which one variable is there which is used just one time, C equals to A plus B, A is used one time, B is used one time, C is used by printf one time, that is it. So cache is sufficient. But I have wrote a program, say hash include main int A equal to 2, B equal to 3, C, D, E, F. Okay. C is equal to A plus B, D is equal to C star phi, E is equal to C minus 1, F is equal to C by 3. Okay, see here, D, E, F, all values, all variables, they want to refer C. Okay, so a variable is frequently used. So that time what happens, we cannot store such a frequently used data in main memory always. So we should have a alternate option, hence we have stored data in such a frequently used data in TCM. So one advantage of using TCM is, since they are tightly coupled, smaller in real size, so even though we are using frequently and more number of data, the efficiency will not reduce. Okay, so because of that, the Harvard architecture becoming more and more popular. Okay, so what is one advantage and disadvantage with respect to both is, here in the von Neumann architecture, since instruction and data both are very near with each other, possibility of fetching wrong data or a wrong operand is lesser. But whereas in a Harvard, since data is separately kept and instruction is separately kept, possibility of fetching wrong operands and wrong operation code or symbols or what we call operators is there. Okay, but today's smart controllers will have a smartness that not to make any mistake when fetching a particular operation code with particular data or register values. So that is there with the today's software or compilers. Even though data is kept separately, with the instruction both are fetched correctly and get the result. So that is what analysis with respect to the differences between von Neumann and Harvard architecture. Students, please make practice of these diagrams. A definite question in the examination for short note. Write differences between von Neumann architecture or Harvard architecture, or they can also ask a question about core extension. Okay, so the next point. Okay, so the next one is simplified Harvard architecture with the caches and TCMs. See, it is a hybrid architecture. Here we are using a TCM, which is a concept of Harvard, cache, which is a concept of von Neumann, keeping them separately, which is again a concept of Harvard. Hence it is called as hybrid technique, but Harvard architecture with caches and TCM both. We are using cache as well as tightly coupled memories. So first thing, here let me explain the diagram little more in analysis. Here you can see we have from the Harvard architecture, we have a concept of storing data and instructions separately. Data and instructions both are kept separate. So the usage of cache is by Harvard architecture. The usage of cache is by von Neumann. Usage of TCM is by Harvard architecture. See here, let me give one analysis. I want to print JCET Hubli on LCD screen. This is one program. So here we have plenty of options when we wanted to print a text on the LCD. So have you seen some digital boards on the transportation train or buses? They are moving from left to right, right to left, top to down or bottom up, moving text, that is called as Marquee text. Okay, or we may have some different colors, yellow color, red color, etc. So here meaning is what, we keep more options for printing a text. As we keep more options, definitely program will be more in size. If program is more in size, what happens? Instructions are more, data is also more. That time only cache is not sufficient. If only cache is not sufficient, then what is the option we have is, take the program and first try to process which are one time usage values through what? Cache, data cache and instruction cache. If some instructions are frequently used, like value of C, like how I explained previously, try to keep store them in the TCM. So advantage of TCM, I mentioned the size of the total saving memory, means the size of the real size of the memory block will be very small, because they are tightly coupled with each other. Okay, so meaning here is because of that storage through TCM as well as cache, we can store any length of a program at a time, and whichever are one time executable in the cache, many time referred in the TCM. So together we can expect more efficiency. So the concept of von Neumann is used, the concept of Harvard is also used, hence we can expect benefit from both. But what is the one important care we have to take is, we should be very careful which operand is executing, which operation is executing and which operand it has been fetched. So both should be matching. Only then the output will be efficient. Okay, so here is a one, efficiency will be the more. Okay, so that's it from the module 1. My some of the notes, some points after this module 1 is, here in the 1 or 2 days I will give the assignment. Please write all the assignment questions in your separate notebook, and try to maintain the this one assignment. That's the first point. Second point, I have given you the lab program 1 for all the video. That's a practical practice program. In that I have explained you how to how to install and use the Keil software. So please follow all the instructions. Okay, all the instructions you have to follow, and I have given in the WhatsApp group that how to downloadable link to get a software. Okay, so download, install in your computer. If it is not possible, if you don't have the facility, please meet your nearby friend and try to have that one. Okay, it's important. And from the next class onwards, since we are starting the chapter 2 or the module chapter 3 or module 2, it's a problematic based. Either I will try to discuss, write it on the board and explain, capture a video and upload it on a YouTube, or directly through the Keil software online sessions. So why I may use a board is, if some of the student unable to get data, live sessions, so he may miss important concepts. So I prefer to display it on the board, or at least the worst condition I will go with the software option also. Okay, so very important point is, be ready with the software, download it in download and install in your computer, practice the program before I could launch next program in our lab part. Okay, also keep referring the channel, YouTube channel, for updated informations. Okay, so thank you. That finishes our module 1.